included that discussion, were you trying to shift the public conversation from licensing to lasting ownership?
I mean, if I have to be honest about the question you're asking, when I put that in the report, I thought about bringing that lens to the report. It was actually to create a space to tell people's stories. One of the things that I felt was missing in the work that we were doing is that, you know, you sit at a table full of experts and theoretically you think you have all the answers. That lived experience, which is a core tenet of equity, was missing. And so that part of the report and other elements of the report were just simply to bring voice to the community that's living out.
If, you know, as we talk about lasting ownership, if someone technically owns 51% of a company, but another party effectively controls the financing, the strategy, and or the decision making, I think those can be very different realities. You have in the report, and I think there was an image that we shot up there about that demographic, about the ownership, and you know, by race and ethnicity, where we have, you know, well over 50% of the C licenses are Black, you know, or of the diaspora owned. And I know how predatory sort of financing arrangements can kind of, you know, sort of sprout up like bad weeds.
So we are seeing where certain C licensees have gotten themselves into certain situations, right, that aren't necessarily favorable. And if you were to go upstream to figure out where the problems lie, it goes back to access to capital. It does set up what feels like, and I say feels like because I don't want to like make any allegations, more exploitative practices. And in my mind, ownership means you have the autonomy to make full decisions about your business. And anytime that's missing, we have a problem. And so as an agency, I think we're now getting to the point where we're looking at some of these agreements, we're looking at some of these setups and saying, is this really lending itself to the equity that we dreamed of or dreamt of when the MRTA was written? And I can say emphatically, at least speaking from my perch, no.
One of the promises of legalization wasn't just creating businesses, it was about wealth creation in the communities that have been disproportionately harmed by prohibition.
For me, it's about how do you create a system that perpetuates the ability to generate wealth, right? And so if it's just a matter of getting a license and then selling it and walking off to the sunset, again, that doesn't live up to what I think the true intent of the MRTA actually was or is. And so like as an agency, as state government, like how do we create infrastructure that then just continues the cycle of you being able to generate an income, pass it on to your kids, rebuild your communities?